Hi friends, today we're going to look at finding distance between points. So we're kind of thinking about the coordinate plane, which we've used throughout the year a couple times. So we're going to take what we've been learning, the Pythagorean theorem, and we're going to apply it to finding the distance between 2 points. So how can we do that? Well, if we want to use the Pythagorean theorem, we need a right triangle. So that's the basis here. We need to find the right triangle. All right, so I have a coordinate plane here. I'm going to zoom in. I'm not right now going to worry about the points themselves, like the coordinates, the ordered pair. I'm just going to look at the points we have. So I have an ordered pair, 2 points. I'm going to draw a right triangle between them. So if I can create a right triangle, I can use Pythagorean theorem. So I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to draw 2 legs that form a right triangle. And I know they form a right triangle based on my coordinate grid. I have my right angle here. So if I have 2 legs, I need to know how the units of that leg. So I'm going to say it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have a leg of 4, and then I have another leg of 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so in this case, both the same distance. Well, I'm going to jump right into my Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. In this case, both legs are 4. So I have 4 squared equals c squared. So why am I using the Pythagorean theorem? Well, I'm looking in this for c, and we know that c would be the distance between these 2 points. The distance between 2 points is our hypotenuse, and that's what we're looking for. So 4 squared is 16. 4 squared, 16. Add these together, 32 equals c squared, and then take a square root. So c equals, I'm going to grab my calculator, the square root of 32, 5.66. So about 5.66. So the distance between these 2 points on the coordinate plane is about 5.66 units. All right, let's look at another one. Same idea. I'm not going to worry about any numbers as far as their ordered pairs. I'm just going to look for that right triangle. So I can draw the right triangle kind of anywhere I want as long as I'm drawing the legs. So what I mean by that is I could draw it below the points or above the points. I'm going to stick with below again. So I have, there's a leg, another leg. All right, so this has a unit of 2, this leg, and this leg has a unit of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's okay that it crosses that coordinate plane, the x or y axis, as long as we're just isolating that triangle. So if I draw my hypotenuse, which is again my distance between the points that I'm looking for, there it is. All right, so Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. 2 squared plus 6 squared equals c squared. That's going to be 4 plus 36 equals c squared. Square root, and the square root of 40 is about 6.32. So the distance between our 2 points is 6.32. So that is finding, using a graph, the distance between 2 points. We're going to go ahead and look at, what do you do if we have no graph? We'll start with the graph to illustrate the point, but we'll do our best to kind of go away from it. I'm going to follow my same process. So here's my right triangle. Now, this distance is 2. This distance is 4. Now, we're going to make the connection to the actual points themselves because we want to be able to do this without the graph. If I look at this movement here, this is my up and down. That's my y-axis, right? My rise. So that deals with the y. If I look at the y's, how far are the two y values apart? Well, they're 2 apart. And that's the same value we get for that leg. So the difference between the y's is going to be that leg. Same idea goes for the x. This is our x direction. How far is 1 and 5 away from each other? 4. So those two values are going to be our legs. So let's look at how we would do this with points. So we have no graph. We're not going to draw a graph. We're just going to do it straight from the points. I'm going to look at how far is 2 and 10, the first two values or the x values, apart from each other. Well, 10 minus 2 is 8. Then I want to look for how far is 6 and 3 away from each other. They're 3 away. These two values are the legs of the triangle if I were to draw it. So we're going to use those as A and B. 3 squared plus 8 squared equals C squared. 9 plus 64 equals C squared. 64 plus 9, 73. And then we're going to square root. Sorry, not cube root, square root. Square root 73 gives us a C value of about 8.54. So that would be the distance between these 2 points on a graph. Same idea here. We'll do one more example. I'm going to look at the x values and say how far is -5 away from 1? 6. How far is 2 away from 5? 3. So we would do 6 squared plus 3 squared equals C squared. 36 plus 9 equals C squared. 45 equals C squared. Square root, and the square root of 45 is about 6.7. And that would be my distance between my 2 points. And that's finding the distance between 2 points using Pythagorean theorem on a graph and without a graph.